The greatest tragedy of 70% of young Christians walking away from their faith is that it is entirely preventable. But only if we thoroughly train them in a biblical worldview in a context of intensive mentoring where they get to experience vibrant Christian community. The problem is that's a really rare combination in the world today. Since 1962, 35,000 families have turned to Summit Ministries because its intensive 12-day biblical worldview and apologetics training program changes the trajectory of students' lives forever. People ask me, how does Summit have such a profound change on students' lives in just 12 days? I want you to imagine a double helix, truth and biblical worldview in the context of mentoring, community, and relationships. We bring in the top thought leaders to train students in biblical worldview, apologetics, economics, pop culture, every issue these students are going to be facing in the next decade or so. And we do that in the context of a community. So the thought leaders are there, but they're there at meal times, they're there in Q&A times, they're walking with the students.
How do we evaluate our own worldview? How do we understand what it is that we are actually living by?
Why do you think God even exists? Why should you trust the Bible?
Are you planned by a God who knows you and has a plan for your life? Or are we the result of this accidental, unguided process?
How do we connect the thing that we know is true with actually how we live? How do we put together belief and behavior?
But the important question here is, what is true? Is it true that Jesus is the only way, or is it not true?
You've got to answer the question, what is the unborn, before you answer the question, can I kill the unborn?
If God exists, why doesn't he make himself more obvious?
And all of a sudden, I knew what it meant for God to be alive and to speak to you through his word.
If you are not intentional about your worldview, you will have one. It just won't be the right one.
I believe I've always known what I believe, but I don't think I always knew what was behind that or why I believed it.
I said the Bible was true because I'd heard it hundreds and hundreds of times growing up. But why do I personally believe it's true?
When they don't have any of these questions answered, as soon as some challenge comes into their life, they don't know how to respond. And so being well grounded in worldview is setting somebody up for success.
And then the students have experiences of community where they walk together, play together, serve together, talk together, dream together, guided by experienced and trained mentors who pull the whole thing together to give these students an experience of Christian community that they may have never had in their entire lives.
You sit down at lunch with people that are your age or younger or older, and you have like these intense, deep theological conversations that you don't have every day.
There's no doubt that Summit has been one of the most influential and life-changing experiences that I've had in both my faith in Christ and in the way that I interact with everybody else.
No ministry I know is as much on the cutting edge as is Summit Ministries, equipping a generation to present and defend the gospel.
Because Summit's 12-day experience is the beginning of a life journey together, we intensively study our students and the impact they're having on the world, and it is profound. We have found that the 12-day program has a significant impact on their devotional life, their prayer life, their feeling of closeness to God, their understanding of a Christian worldview, their understanding of other worldviews, their willingness to engage the world with their faith. And then as we look at the lives of these students, we're seeing them in politics, in medicine, in science, in academia, in every area of life exerting an influence for Christ. This could be one of the most exciting movements in our century.
I don't know of any program in the country that I would recommend more highly than Summit Ministries.
Summit will stir your heart, equip your mind, change your life. And I would encourage people, if you love the Lord, if you love truth, if you care about the future of the Western world, come to Summit and be equipped to make a difference.
I don't care if you're an atheist, if you're a Muslim or Christian or whatever, just come. Come now.
Come to learn, come to fellowship, and come to just enjoy and have a good time.
You can't put a price on being sure of the truth.
Life has a way of drawing a line in the sand. On one side is the boring, predictable life. On the other side is a life of joy, meaning, adventure, purpose, and influence. And at Summit, we're creating that kind of community with Christ at the center. I invite you to step across the line and join us.